In this segment of our 7-part series for building a stand and tree mount for your bottle beehive system, we're going to enclose the hive beetle trap we made in the last video and add the platform that your bottle beehive system rests on. You're going to need 2 pieces of 1x4 cut to 12 inches in length. You could also use 2x4 if that's easier to find as scrap or cull lumber. Take the 12¼ inch 1x12 that you have from part 2 of this series. If your board has the optional beveled edge, that goes to the front of the hive stand with the long edge facing up. Find the center of the narrower portion of the board and mark it. From what will be the back of the platform, measure in 5 3/8 inches from the rear of the board. This is the center point. Drill a pilot hole and then drill the opening with your 2 1/8 inch hole saw. Next, we're going to lay the top platform on top of the guide sticks. We're going to take our 2 12-inch boards and we're going to align them with the back side here. That should come to 3/4 inches. You can also just measure it at 3/4 inch, assuming that's the thickness of this board. With that done, we're going to drill and screw through the sides, but we want this top edge to be flush with the top of the boards as follows. The process of drilling these holes is the same as it was for attaching the back. We're going to come down 3/8 of an inch so that we're centered on the board we're going to be screwing on, which is 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to put 4 or 5 screws in here, preferably with a couple at an angle, keeping in mind that there's nothing we're attaching to here this way. We'll attach some other screws in the other dimension once we get this attached. This board that I'm using has a considerable warp to it. I want to make sure that the warp, the high point of the warp, goes towards the top where the hive is. That way water will run off the sides. What I don't want to do is put it the other way so water pools at the neck of the beehive. This is my top. I'm going to set this down and you'll notice it rocks a little bit. I need to double check that I've got it the right direction. There we go. And I'm going to take my side piece that I just drilled. I've marked the 3/4 inch line here so that this has a little dog ear that sticks out behind. I'm going to put my dollar store tacky glue along here and then screw those 4 screws in. Titebond 3 would be the best. Elmer's glue would be okay. Pretty much any white glue you get at the dollar store will work. So we're going to align this edge of my board with the top edge of the top platform, and I'm going to slide it back that 3/4 inch that we have here. I'll show you as soon as I get a screw in. And you can see right here where we've got our 3/4 inch. So now we're just going to go ahead and screw the other 2 screws in, and there's one side. Now, repeat for this other side so that your 3/4 inches sticks out the rear. Like that, with your screws going in here. Not a bad idea to make sure you don't have a whole bunch of glue oozing out. You can use a damp paper towel to wipe up any excess glue. This piece should now fit on here with these 2 wings going on the outside of your bottom board. When you've got that done, you should have a box down here. Guess what we're going to do next? This bottom edge of our 1x4 to the bottom edge of our box right here. And then we're going to screw it in place. After that, we're going to rinse and repeat on the other side. Uh-oh, broke a bit. We hate when that happens. So we're going to fix that off camera and then we'll continue. All right, again, I'm aligning this edge right here to be flush, and then I'm going to drive this screw. Now, notice at the back, over here, this hangs down a little bit, so I'm going to have to push this down just a little bit till it flushes out like that. Now I can go ahead and drill my hole. There we go. That's what our box looks like so far. With all that connected, now we're going to connect this piece to the back piece, like so. And then repeat on the other side. This helps gives us a tighter connection to the back. There we go. This is rock solid. With that attached, you can now see that our tray fits in here like so. If we look down inside, what we have on top of the tray is the space where our bees will enter the hive. They'll enter here over the top of the mesh, and then they'll come up to the bottle through this hole. You can also see this is our standard 3/8 inch dowel that we've been using, so there's plenty of space here. We need to trim that down.
Trim off all the excess glue from the hive beetle trap tray.
Now, with our tray in position, this is a 3/8 inch dowel like the ones we've been using. You can see there's more than sufficient bee space through there. This is a 7/16 inch dowel that we haven't been using, but I'm showing you here that it gives you that extra 1/16 of an inch space, and right in the middle, it's probably closer to 1/2 inch where we have the warp in this board. Okay. Now we have to decide what, if anything, we're going to do with this space here. This is a lot of space for something to get in there and cause mischief. We could leave it open, or we could block it off this way so that we're forming a seal that extends from here all the way down to here, so nothing gets in through the top this way. Now, if we use a 5-gallon paint stick, we don't have to contend with this little notch that's right here out of the 1-gallon stir stick. But because I'm cheap and 1 gallon's going to work really well for me, I'm just going to put the 1-gallon stick in there and then, of course, put a blob of hot glue down to cover the little opening. I've cut this to the correct length, but I'm going to leave this one sticking out for right now. So the procedure is going to be run hot glue, put the stick in there, hold it into place till we have that sealed off. And so here we go. I'm going to run a bead along the top, trying not to get the melted glue onto my fingers, because the glue is hot and it will burn. I'm putting a little extra blob where that little thumb rest was. And now I'm just going to run a nice big blob along this side of the stick, being careful not to stick my fingers into the hot glue. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. I can use another stick to kind of hold it into place, but it's going to stay in there pretty nicely. So we've now sealed off that one entrance.
Repeat the process on the other side to finish sealing off the pan area. In the next video in this series, we will close off the front of these openings, as well as add a landing pad for the bees and the part that will connect the bottle to the stand.